every week. Good morning. I want to welcome you to this week at our business community support program that we have every week here at 9 o'clock on Thursday. And each week we have a specific topic that we're going over and talking about how it relates to the businesses in our community. And COVID has had a huge impact on a variety of areas. And today we're going to talk about our agriculture. And I know some of you are thinking, why would COVID impact agriculture? But there are a lot of things that it has done. And we have two excellent speakers that'll be coming on to join us as well. Also want to let you know that this is live on Main Street Fort Dodge Facebook page, and it is also live on the Alpha Media YouTube page. So you will also be able to watch it that way, and it will be staying there. If it's on digital and it's internet, it's on there till we take it off. And so you can watch it anytime as well. You are also available to write your comments, and we encourage you to write any comments that you have for our speakers today. And I'm thrilled to have the speakers that we have, and we're going to bring them on just in a second. Again, Jed is not able to join us today. He got called away to a meeting, and Darcy will be here for Kimberly as well. So let's start with our first speakers, and if our Mr. Kurt, our gentleman that's running the show for us behind the scenes, can put that slide up. Our guests this week are Alicia Hewen with the Landis Cooperative and Mark Lynch with Lynch Farms. And both of them bring a totally different perspective to the agriculture area and what they're going through today and have been going through and what we're looking for in the future. We're going to start out with Mark. And Mark has the Lynch Farm, and he's a vegetable farmer as well as a grain farmer. And so we're really excited to have him talk about what the impact of COVID has had, some of the creative things that they've had to do. I know Mark for years with Market on Central, as well as I get to look at his field every day when I drive home. So Mark, I've known Mark for years, and he's also a school teacher. So we've got a very rounded, a retired school teacher, I should say,
yes.
And taught my children math. And I really can't say how well they're doing with that, Mark, but I hope they retain some of that, okay? So anyway, Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit, first of all, about the vegetable farming that you have with you and your wife, and how are things going, and what are you doing in that area?
My wife and I have been doing farmers market for 15, maybe close to probably 20 years. And she's got a green thumb, so she's the farmer, and I'm the one that tries to find markets for it and sell it and what we can do with this. But this year has been very challenging, to say the least, because we had all of the seed purchased back in February, March, and then COVID comes around and we're not even sure if we're even going to have a market. And the Farmers Market Managers Association got together back in April and came up with a list of guidelines that they said that they would push to implement at every farmer's market. And then they gave that to the governor, and they said to the governor, can we have markets if we implement these guidelines? And the governor said yes. And some of those guidelines were, of course, the social distancing. Every table's got a little sign that says, of course, if you're not feeling well, please go home, don't come to the market, that type of stuff. Gloves and masks are optional, but probably maybe 2/3 of the people there have masks on. What we try to do at our table is we both try to be there. My wife will have gloves on or keep washing her hands, but she will handle the produce, and then I will handle the money. So that way she's not handling dirty money, and I help with the produce also because we get busy, but we've got some sanitizing gel. We'll keep wiping our hands, and people do appreciate that. Probably the biggest adjustment that we had to make this year is that we have signs that says don't touch the produce, and that's tough for people because usually people come in and they go like, I want this one, they grab this, they grab that. And with tomatoes, of course, as most people do in the grocery store, they grab them, squeeze them. We've had people stick their thumbnail into them. Yeah, and then they put them down, and they, so now it's more, okay, you point out which one you want, we'll pick it, pack it, and then you pay us. But that is a very welcome adjustment that we've made, is that we don't want everybody handling everything.
And I think that's a point that you're bringing up. It's trial and error, because
yes.
you just didn't really know what to expect or what are going to be the issues. You think you try to cover all the bases, and things like people squeezing the tomatoes comes up, and you got to come up with another way to manage that and be creative to address it. Have very many farmers markets been canceled, or have they all been scheduled again, maybe just later?
I think they all started up on time. There was all of these guidelines where they wanted you to rope off the whole area, and they wanted one-way traffic through there. And that's just not practical in most cases.
Yeah, so sometimes your area doesn't accommodate those type of things, because you're in parking lots and parks and that type of thing, and it's really hard to do that.
It was great ideas, and some of them, like I said, just were not practical for some markets. But I think most all markets have changed in some degree because of the virus. And like I said, some of the changes were good changes.
So what are you seeing with the people that are coming to the market? Are you seeing any changes in that? Are they buying more produce? Are they, what are their comments? What are you hearing out there?
At first, when we came into town, like once a week back in like April or so, just to get groceries and supplies, my wife would always go to the greenhouse that they had, the grocery stores and things like that. And there for a while, you could not buy a tomato plant, a pepper plant, anything. So that showed us, wow, people are going to be scared of their food supply, so they're going to plant their own garden, which we said that's great, because I've always said probably 90% of the people that have good intentions and plant a garden, most of them fail. And this year especially, things didn't go very well. So we thought, well, we got a lot of people that are going to try it, and people have tried it. And then they're the first ones to appreciate the fact that we do grow stuff and we can get it to grow, and we're doing all the work for it, and they're buying the stuff from us. And like I said, we've had more people this year have said, thank you for doing this. We appreciate it, because they know, especially this year, and especially with the drought, it's been very, very challenging.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think people realize how bad the drought is. So then let's take that into the next end, because you are also a soybean and grain or corn grain farmer as well. And we've seen some interesting things in that long before COVID came, with the tariffs that were implemented. And then I know, as my husband has been bragging, that this was probably one of the best springs ever to get a crop in. But since then, it's not been quite as pretty of a picture.
I think we should have been suspicious back in April and early May, when we got everything planted without any hitches whatsoever, because the past 2 years have literally been down to the last hour trying to get things done ahead of rain. And we got things off without a hitch at all this year. And we sit back and go, wow, that was too easy.
Right.
But yeah, and then June rolls around and we get that hot weather. And like I said, we haven't had hardly any rain June and July. And you try to convince people that, and some people once in a while at the market will make a comment like, oh, your cucumbers are kind of small. Well, yeah. I try to very nicely say to people, well, we're running a car not without gas. We're starting to run it without oil now. Right. I mean, we're just running completely devoid of any moisture.
Yeah, it's probably been about 45 days since we've had rain.
It's been tough. And like I said, we sit there and watch the forecast, and they talk, like last Sunday was supposed to be 9/10 inch of rain, and we hardly got a drop.
Right.
We're just kind of in that funk.
And I know a lot of people don't realize what COVID has impacted on the grain market or grain farmers as well. Social distancing isn't really a problem for farmers, but what have you seen on the COVID side as far as impacting you?
As far as the markets, I mean, back in March when the COVID thing really started taking hold, a lot of people, including myself, start doing their marketing in March, in the springtime. And that's when things basically started into a free fall. And then that made most marketing plans, and we just kind of threw them out the window. And now you just sit there and watch it go down and go down. And now it's just like, wow. Yeah, it's as far as market. And then you look at the crops, and like I've said, I remember in 2012, we started harvest very close right after Labor Day. And I think we're looking at that possibility again.
Yeah, it looks like an early harvest just because it's so dry and where it's at. Any other, I know we're also very happy if anybody has any questions or anything like that, you're free to write in the comment section, as you can see on our ticker tape there. Any other things that you would like to add, Mark, that we need to let the public know in the area? Oh, well, wait, we did not also talk about where you're going to be tonight.
Oh,
we need
yes.
to hit that.
We got to give our shot to River Hops Brewery. Ron and Diane do a fantastic job there, and Thursday nights, pretty much this will be our fourth night there, fourth Thursday. They're getting live music, and Ron and Diane reached out to me to see if we would set up a little stand there. And like last week, they had a sweet corn feed, and they cooked the sweet corn in beer, which was an extra treat.
Oh, where did you get the beer, I wonder?
Yeah. So yeah, we just set up in the shade, and he's had beautiful, beautiful nights for music, and just, and it's outside, so you can social distance. And like I said, even if we sell a few of this or a few of that, it's just nice to sit outside and listen to some music, have a craft beer. And I will bring some sweet corn tonight and maybe some popcorn. A lot of other things are kind of running their course.
And for anybody that wants to know, River Hops Brewing is in downtown Fort Dodge, and the area behind where River Hops is at is where Mark will be at. There's this outdoor seating area, and right beside it is a parking lot. So everything is perfectly set up for you to enjoy the music, enjoy looking at Mark's products and produce out there, and taking home some fresh veggies if you don't already have them at your home. Great. All right. Well, thank you, Mark. I hope you can hang on a little bit, because we're going to bring on our next speaker, and very excited. We are going to move over to the cooperative side. And if you'd like to bring on our guest. There she is. Oh, you want to unmic yourself? There you go.
There we go.
All right.
Good morning.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and the company you work for? We want to hear all about it.
Absolutely, and I think I have some slides, so I can ask Kurt to help me put those up. So my name is Alicia Hewen, and I am the Director of Communications at Landis. Landis's main office is in Ames, but we definitely have locations in Webster County, so folks are familiar with us. I live in Greene County, just on the edge of Jefferson, and I'm thinking I might have to call my husband and see if we can make a trip up to River Hops tonight, because that sounds much more exciting and fun than what we have planned for the evening.
But you will enjoy. Ron has a great business there, and he is so passionate about brewing beer.
And I love it.
You will enjoy
it. Craft beer, so I may have to make the trek. So if you want to go to the first slide for me, Kurt. So Landis, for those of you who don't know, we are a farmer-owned cooperative, and when we talk about what we do, our job is really to help elevate the future of agriculture. And what that really means is we believe that the farmers like Mark and those in Webster County and surrounding areas are the most critical part of the food supply chain. They help, and at Landis, our job is to help give them agronomy inputs and data to help them pick the right seeds and pick the right crop nutrients to grow a healthy crop, then to help them market that grain back into the merchandising stream, to maybe turn it into ethanol, to turn it into feed, which we have feed mills of our own. Some of that feed gets sent to dairy cattle around the world from our Ralston and Jefferson locations. And then from there, obviously that milk goes into the grocery store and then back onto the tables of our farmer owners. So we really consider ourselves having the opportunity to touch every step in the supply chain. And because we can do that, we really try to advocate for our farmer owners so that they have a profitable role in that supply chain. So if you want to go to the next supply. So Cheryl asked me to talk a little bit about COVID and how it's impacted us. So I thought from a communicator standpoint, I would just break it down into the 4 audiences that we've been talking to since our first memo went out on March 13th about COVID. So if you want to go to the next slide for me. So I have about 599 coworkers in 26 counties, which is about 60 communities. And like I said, we started communicating with our employees and customers in mid-March. We really were kind of first out of the gate when it came to cooperative communications in agriculture. And we really tried to stay in touch with our customer or with our employees who were in touch with our customers with what's going on and how are they feeling the impact. And like you said, Cheryl, social distancing isn't really hard for a farmer. When you're planting, like Mark said, in a rapid planting season, it's pretty easy to be in the tractor by yourself. The challenge is when you come in to do paperwork or pick up product, how do we help protect our farmer owners? So we really let our employees be at the front offices. You know, you make the decision, what's best for you, what's best for your customers, how do you manage interactions so that you can be safe? One thing I can say, when you look at the state of the economy today, there have been many, many industries that have been impacted by COVID and they've had a lot of layoffs. We have a significant unemployment number in Iowa right now. And I can proudly say that because Landis is essential and the Department of Homeland Security deemed agriculture an essential industry, we have had 0 layoffs. In fact, we're still hiring. We're trying to hire people. And so June was one of our strongest hiring months, and we're starting to get ready to hire for harvest. So if you know someone who's looking for a job, please send them our way to landiscooperative.com, and we're looking for those folks. We are social distancing with our customers, and I'll talk about that next. And I can say that as an employee, I feel very well taken care of. I'm an administrative employee, so as you can see, I'm in my home office. I've been here since St. Patrick's Day. That's the last day that I was in the office, and really been able to be productive. For those that can work from home, they are. From those that can't work from home at the locations, they've put restrictions in place to help keep each other safe. If you want to go to the next slide. So from a farming standpoint, the reason that we are so committed to keeping our employees and customers safe is because our farmers definitely fit into that age range that are at higher risk. So this is a graph of all of our Landis membership and their ages. And the average age of our farmer is about 68. So more than 60% of all of our owners are in that high risk category. So not only do we want to help take care of them physically, but we know that this is a very stressful time for them. And so we're helping to promote the Your Life Iowa program with drought, with low prices for livestock producers that maybe had to make some really tough decisions, just offering them that opportunity of someone to talk to and a resource.
Great.
Next slide. The other thing we're doing is focusing on technology. There are so many things that we can do so that we don't actually, even though we want to, have to talk to our customers or pass paperwork back and forth. So we have an app and a customer portal that we've been promoting strongly. And the end of next week, we're going to go live with electronic signatures. So every time you contract your bushels or you have to get a check, you want to get a check for your grain, you have to sign a piece of paper. That means you have to be in the office or you have to take the time to mail it. So next week, we're going to roll out electronic signatures so that you don't have to come into the office if you don't feel comfortable.
And that's such a great point, because right before that, you were talking about the average age is 68. It has technology, it crosses all borders, and that's, of course, that's what I do. And you're talking about your signatures and your paperwork. We have been so busy with businesses doing their forms online. Yes. And getting that up to date, and so that they can cut back on that contact and that stuff on there. And so it's, I'm sure a lot of people are not thinking in that aspect that farmers are going to be that savvy on data, but it is a very important part.
It's huge. And in fact, I will tell you, about 2 months ago, I sat on the phone with a gentleman. He's 80 years old, and he was having a little trouble. His app wasn't working the way that it was before. And we walked through it and he said, good, I love using this app. I like being able to see my cash bids every day. I like being able to get my information. And so that was really fun for me to be able to tell the team, just because you're 80 years old does not mean that you don't want to use an app. I mean, my dad was 65 and he wouldn't use an app to save his life. It just depends on what you're comfortable with and what you want to do.
Yeah, age has no boundaries on.
Age has no boundaries when it comes to technology. I agree. But the one thing that I would also agree with Mark on is that the markets have been really tough for farmers, and we just want the rest of our communities to know that it's a challenging time for them. In fact, the USDA has said that there's some statistics on the screen from April from Iowa State, but I can say that the USDA has said that farm income would again be negative this year if it were not for the market facilitation programs that the USDA has put out to help support farmers. Now, most farmers I know are capitalists and they want to be able to produce and be profitable on their own. But that is something that we all need to be aware of, is that it is these farmers, our 7,000 farmers are helping to put more than 4,000 grocery store items on the shelves. And without this assistance, they would be losing money and having to decide if they could even buy those groceries back to put on their plate. So something that we're very aware of and that we try to tell the story of. So if you go to the next slide. Our communities, like I said, we're in 60 locations, and we know that with kids being off of school and having to do schoolwork from home and parents having to work from home and just a lot of at-home time, that internet access can be a huge problem. We're huge advocates for rural broadband, and so we know that some of those communities don't have that access. So our locations that we deem to have extra Wi-Fi power, some IT specification that says you have extra Wi-Fi that you can share. We've actually allowed our community members to bring their car, sit in the parking lot, and connect to our Wi-Fi for free. So closest to Fort Dodge are Peyton and Farnaville. Beaver and Yale are kind of south, and then Thompson to the north. But you can park your car outside the Farnaville elevator and connect to our Wi-Fi for free from 6 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. And do your homework, do telemedicine, Zoom with your family, Zoom with your friends. And so it's just something that we want to do to help be a part of the community because we know there's a need.
And you're bringing up a great comment, because broadband is one of the big rural areas. I know I work a lot in that with the telco companies that are clients of mine, as well as being a former telco, working for a large corporate telephone company. Yeah. I understand how important that is, and why we say that everybody has broadbands. Sometimes it just isn't the quality of broadband that you need. It might be sufficient for certain things, but it is not at the level that everybody needs.
I agree. So I live on the edge of Jefferson. We're very lucky. We have fiber, so I can be on this Zoom and do other things or this webinar and be doing other things at the same time. I have a friend who lives on the other side of the county, and their Wi-Fi from her working at home has to ping off of their neighbor's elevator. And so I can always tell when she's having trouble with her internet, because her husband posts on Twitter, hey, and then they post their farmer's neighbor's name, go up to the top of the elevator and readjust the cord again. We need better internet today. So I joke, but that's, that people are working from home, students are learning from home. Consistent high-speed rural broadband is really an important issue, and it's something that we're really passionate about. So if you go to the next slide, and I want to try to keep us on time here. So a couple of other things that our locations have done to be empowered to help their communities. Our Woodward location during planting season had a social distance drive-through lunch. They grilled burgers and chips and put them in boxes and kind of threw them into the truck windows as guys drove by, and you could see Betty there with her mask. Our Jefferson location did a drive-in movie. We showed Frozen on the side of our grain elevator one Saturday night about 8:30. It was awesome. Everybody stayed in their vehicles, socially distanced. And then probably one of the most significant things and things that we're proud of is we know that people are hungry, and our job is to help grow food for the world. And so we made a $20,000 donation to the state's Pass the Pork program. And we've just been hearing from the governor and the Secretary of Ag's office that pork is starting to be processed and it's getting into people's homes. And so we're really proud that we can make one of the largest donations there to help feed families in our rural communities. Last thing is, as Mark talked about, people don't always understand where their food comes from. I can tell you, I just was talking to Mark before this started, and my garden looks pitiful. So I am very grateful for him and his produce and people like him. But most people go to the grocery store shelves and they see that the meat case is empty and they don't understand why. Well, that meat just shows up. They don't understand that there's an entire supply chain that is impacted by that. And it's not like a car manufacturer where you can just hit the pause button and the pieces will all stay there and they'll stay good for however long until you hit the start button on that manufacturing line again. Agriculture is not like that. We have living, perishable items that we need to keep moving, and it disrupts the supply chain. And so our CEO is really, Matt Carsons, is really passionate about telling that story and being an advocate for our farmer owners. And so he's been sitting on panels for Reuters, and we were live on Fox 32 Chicago explaining why people are hearing about food shortages, which we don't think that we will have and that we haven't had, but there's been disruption and price disruption, and we want people to understand that. And so part of what we have done in COVID is just to tell the story of ag and advocate for our 7,000 farmer owners. If you want to check out any of those examples, you can check out our Twitter feed. We share them all there. It's fun to go back through. You can see all of those examples. And my contact information is here if there's anything I can ever do to be of assistance to anyone in your community.
Great. What great information. And I loved your creativity of putting the movie on the grain bin. That's hilarious. And it showed up really well on the grain bin too.
People had a great time. We hired a company so you could listen to it through your radio in your car. And you know, I've seen Frozen before. I have 5 nephews, and so I think it was some of those adults' 5th or 6th time seeing it, but they came out anyway because it was something to do to get them out of the house and something different.
And something to do with the family. That's part of this program that we've been doing here is talking about the creativity and the community support and where we're at. And you brought up some great points of talking about disruption, not necessarily that we were shortage, but a disruption in it. And I remember when COVID first started, my husband made the comment, you just wait till it hits the meat packing plants. And that was a reality check for a lot of people when that happened in that regard. So it really shows how the chain of command. We also have a trucking company and do trucking, hauling, lysine for CJ Bio. And you know, that's dropped down as well because of the number of farmers with livestock and not feeding the protein like that they were, because they don't want the rapid growth like it's before. Again, something that our regular people may not understand in the agricultural world. To us, we live in and breathe it every day, and we get it, but it's that kind of information that we're trying to get out with programs like this. Anything else that you would like to add at all? And I thank you very much for putting that context information out there. When I go and push this out a little bit more after our presentation today, I'll make sure that your information is also included in the tags and there so they can get a hold.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add is that for people right now who are looking for work, what I would say is if you didn't grow up on a farm and you can't really tell the difference between corn and beans, that's okay. If you are a hard worker and you have a team spirit and you're willing to learn, we have great benefits programs. We have, paid time off. We have short-term disability. We are taking care of our employees during COVID. And so we just ask that people help share that word, that now's a great time to check out our company with some extra part-time work to make a little money for the holidays or help make ends meet while things are tough. And if you don't have an agricultural background, that's just fine. We have plenty of locations in Webster County that are drivable from Fort Dodge.
Great. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And feel free to hang on and any comments you have. We're so glad that you were able to join us today on our agricultural segment that we're going to do. And every week we're going to have a different topic base that we're going to be bringing up. But and we're going to bring agriculture back. So maybe later on, we can also bring you back on maybe during the harvest time and talk about what's going on as well.
I would love to.
Thank you so much. And if you actually are at River Hops, call me. I'll score there too, and we'll share our craft brew together tonight.
I can talk my husband into it.
Okay. Well, thank you. And let's So let's bring on Darcy and talk a little bit about what's going on with North Central Iowa Small Business Development. And we hit on this a little bit last week, Darcy, and talking about the Shop Iowa program that is an excellent opportunity for businesses across the state of Iowa. It is free. It is digital, which of course is close to my heart. And it also is a great way for them to hit a whole different potential market segment that they had not been able to get to before.
Absolutely. And the Iowa Economic Development Authority is partnering with the Shop Where I Live business. on helping small businesses get online, because we saw when coronavirus hit, a lot of the front doors had to close on establishments and businesses were scrambling to figure out how to generate revenue to try to keep afloat somewhat. And so a lot of them turned to online sales. We dealt with a lot of clients through our Small Business Development Center based out of Fort Dodge, and helping them kind of, clients work through, how does that work for me? Because I've never sold online. A lot of them don't even have websites, which I know, Cheryl, you and I both with our marketing backgrounds, I can't understand that. Even a business card kind of website of having a presence or something. So we had to
Or
work.
the Google business page,
Absolutely.
that as well. And, that one's free.
Yes, right. And we do a lot of counseling with clients to get them to do that. Just even that, if they're not comfortable with the other piece. But we're really excited that this program is rolling out, and the Small Business Development Centers all across the state are working with the IEDA and the Shop Where I Live team to get this information out to those small businesses. And there's a couple of requirements for businesses to participate. As you mentioned, right now, the program is free. So the IEDA is offsetting the cost of the program. Small businesses can have up to 25 items that they can sell online. They have to be willing to accept online sales. They have to have a brick and mortar facility. And that can take a lot of different shapes to it. So if it's not a standard brick and mortar building, but it's some place that somebody can come to pick up merchandise, things like that, this program would be a good fit for them. They also have built, I feel, wonderful tutorials on how to get your business online. So for those that are interested in learning more, they can go to the shopiowa.com/sell. And they will have information there on how they can register. They do need to register first. And basically what that does, it allows the Shop Where I Live folks to take a look at their business to make sure that they meet the very minimal guidelines to be part of the program. Now, it is free for 1 year. The year actually started in June. So right now they would be able to be online for 1 year. And that would go through, I think it's the middle part of June of 2021. And then from what I understand as of today, now that can change if the IEDA or some other group steps in and decides to continue the program at where it's at today, it would only be $25 a month to have up to 25 products.
And
So
that is
it's
so
really inexpensive, yes.
Yeah.
And their whole back end piece, they have done a beautiful job of really thinking through inventory, shipping. Now, the neat thing with this program too is some small businesses may not want to ship. They may be, that may not be something that they're comfortable doing, or they can't. So there is a pickup option as well, especially if you're local, and you're buying dog treats, you may just want to run down the street and pick them up, right? As opposed to having them shipped to you. So there is a pickup option as well, which is really nice. And so in addition to those kind of guidelines, they've done a great job of helping you figure out, the photography. The Shop Where I Live team is doing a fantastic job. The nice thing about this program is it gets our rural communities to have a visual presence out there in the shopping industry, so to speak. But it also gives consumers an opportunity to support our Iowa-based businesses, which is huge right now. I know a lot of businesses are feeling abandoned because people just aren't feeling comfortable of getting back into some stores. Some folks feel it's too much of a hassle, so they're really turning online. So this is a way that consumers can really support our Iowa-based businesses. And you can go in and the site is set up beautifully. Again, at shopiowa.com. You can go out and search by product category, or you can search by community. So if you're looking at the Fort Dodge area, and I just checked it before I hopped online, we don't have any businesses yet in Fort Dodge.
Really?
No, not yet. There may be some in the back end that are getting ready to be loaded on. But with that, you can go to support a local community, or you can search by product category. The SBDC, as I mentioned earlier, is teaming up with the Shop Where I Live folks in the IEDA. So if you are a small business owner and you're interested in getting online and you're just not comfortable, there's a lot of folks that aren't very techy, right? So we are able to work with that business owner and walk them through step by step and help them get online. And that is at no cost. As with all the services that we have at the Small Business Development Centers, everything we do is free and confidential. So we are really excited and looking forward to hopefully working with some businesses and helping them get online that maybe they wouldn't have taken advantage of the opportunity because of the lack of skill set there. But it's a great, great program, and we're pretty excited about it. You'll be seeing more. I noticed on some local access cable network channels, they're starting to promote it real heavily. So again, the program Shop Iowa. So I encourage everyone to go out, take a look. You are more than welcome to even give us a call at the center if you don't find the information you're looking for on the website. And our number there at the office in Fort Dodge is 515-576-6242. So we'll be happy to give you guys a call back and answer any questions so they have what they need. We also have one other program that I wanted to bring up today. And it is through the IEDA. As we know, when coronavirus hit back in March, they came up with a grant program for businesses throughout the state of Iowa. And now they're coming up with a program to really help small businesses that have found that they have fallen behind in their utility payments. The program is designed to assist small businesses with their utility expenses that were incurred between March 17th and June 30th. The total amount of the grant is $7,500. If the grant is approved, the financial piece of that goes directly to the utility company. So the business will not get the money, but it goes to help get them caught back up on their utility piece. And right now, applications are being accepted through August 21st. And for those that are looking for more information, they can go to iowabusinessrecovery.com and check out the information there. They also can check with their local utility department, or again, they can call us at this North Central Iowa Small Business Development Center, and we can help direct them where they need to go.
Great. A lot of information there and a lot of resources on it. And we always encourage everybody to contact the North Central Iowa Small Business Development Center. Like Darcy said, they're located right here in Fort Dodge. Mm-hmm. And at the Iowa Extension office is where their headquarters are at. And it is a free service brought to you. Mm-hmm. With Lisa Shimkat, our executive director, is a Fort Dodger. And we always love working with her and the entire small business development group.
It's funny to me, or it amazes me. I mean, not everybody knows, the work that we do. We work with people who just have an idea. Hey, I think I want to start a business. And believe it or not, we're seeing a lot of those right now. People are taking advantage of the opportunity of the marketplace being down to get themselves ready for when things open back up to be out there. And so we are swamped right now with those folks that are just, hey, I got an idea. We work with those that are already, existing businesses. It could be a succession situation where an employee is buying out a current owner, or the current owner is looking to sell the business and move on or close down. We also do a lot of work with businesses that just want to grow, or maybe they have questions on, I don't understand QuickBooks very well. I need to get a better handle on my financials, or I'm having human resource issues and I don't know where to turn. So we provide a lot of resources and education. And Kimberly Tiefenthaler, who's our regional director, she says all the time, we don't we know a little bit about a lot of things, and we have huge networks. And I'll tell you, Lisa Shimkat has done a phenomenal job at the state level of really expanding our resource pool, of bringing in experts. We have a gal that works for us now who also is with the state, the Department of Revenue. I have referred a lot of clients to her who are looking for help with trying to figure out what kind of business entity should I be because of the tax implications.
Right.
And she's worked with them on that. That's out of my scope. My area is marketing and branding is my expertise. I have a strong passion and desire to work with entrepreneurs and startups. So when I have someone come to me and say, well, what's the tax implications if I'm, an S Corp, I'm calling Lisa and saying, I've got a client I need you to consult with. Again,
you bring up a really good point, Darcy, on that you, as a business owner, while you try to save money and you try to do everything, you need to network out and you need to break out to those areas. And I can probably figure out how to do some plumbing in my house, but do I want to do it? No, I call a plumber or a bookkeeper or whatever. And it's the same way in the marketing and as what you brought up there at the Small Business Development Center. You don't know everything either, but you know where to go and how to get that information out.
And we have some awesome partnerships. And I'll just share this real quick, and then I'll hop off because I think you probably have a couple more things to do, and we're getting towards the end here. But our center is a partner with Google. So we have a team at Google that if you're having problems with claiming your business, or there's an issue with something going on within the Google realm, we're a partner with them, and we have a designated team. We were actually, our center, to toot our horn a little bit, was back in November, we were the partner of the month nationwide, and it was our Fort Dodge and Small Business Development Center that received that honor. We also have a really strong partnership with Square, and Square is really focused on small business and providing solutions to them, from inventory to payroll to, what we're known for. Most people know Square with, the POS system, but we have a designated team. So I refer a lot of people who are trying to figure out what's the best solution to go to them first, to kind of figure out the industry standard and get that information before they go interview other companies. We also have a tech team. So if someone's having problems with Square, or they're running into an issue with, I know I'm not maximizing the use of this product, how do I do that? We have a team that can help them. Again, all at no cost through our center. So we have some really strong relationships. You mentioned Iowa State University Extension. We have a partnership with their FFED department, and we're doing a lot of business development work with them right now as well. They're some of our larger scaled projects that we're working on. So you're absolutely right. If you don't know what you don't know. And the nice thing about coming to our center is, even if you're really not sure if we can help you, pick up the phone and call, or request a counseling session, and we can tell you, hey, we don't know the answer, but we know someone who does, and we're going to connect you with them. And really, at the end of the day, we're there to make sure that businesses start off successfully and stay successful. And we do that through all those resources that we have. So
your point on, you don't know what you don't know. And that's
Absolutely.
probably the big thing that I work so much with clients, and they don't know what questions to even ask because they just don't know. And that's where you need to talk to people like Darcy or myself or any of the individuals that we bring on, whether they're speakers or our team that puts this together every week. We don't always know what it is, what information you need to know as well, but we do have the resources or the connections that we can provide for you to help you on that. And that's what we're all about. Is
that's what the show's about, right? It's about getting information out there to help folks with what they don't know.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. We want to see everybody grow, because as I tell clients, if your business grows in a community, your community grows.
Absolutely.
So you are, no matter what business you are an economic factor in that community. And the more things that you do online, which we've talked a lot about, the
Mhm.
better you make your community, because all of that information is out there. And when people are searching for those areas and those communities, when your business comes up, they learn more about the community that you're in as well.
Absolutely. And that's a great segue back to the beginning topic of shopiowa.com, right? So if you don't know what businesses are in your own community, but you're looking for something, that's a really great resource to go out and find out what is in your community or surrounding communities so that you can support them. You may not know that there's a gourmet dog biscuit shop in town, and you may be, going to Ames to get your dog treats when you're in Fort Dodge, and there's one there you can support. So that is a really good place to be able to find out what businesses are in your community that you can support. So
I know if I was able to go on that Shop Iowa, I would, but since I'm a service organization, even though we have a brick and mortar, it doesn't fall into their guidelines. But I think they are working on that potentially.
That might be in next rollout phase. I'm not really sure. Right now, we're just focused on if you have, something that can be sold online, and that's important to note. I mean, not every product somebody has can be sold online, or should be. And so, the program is designed for those that can easily ship an item, or that's safe to do so. So
right. Exactly, great. Well, thank you so much, Darcy. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to our producer too, and can you bring up the video of Margie with Farm Her? Margie was not able to join us today, and if Kurt can bring that up and we can get that to work, but she is going to come on in the near future. And I met Margie at the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program last year. She was in cohort 2 with me, and you've probably seen her on TV. But she travels the area. She also has a program on vegetable farmers in Iowa, and that's what the video is about. And when I talked to her this week, she said, "Cheryl, I'm filming in Nebraska. Otherwise, I'd be happy to get on your program." So we're really excited about that, and getting her to be able to talk a little bit about what she's had to go through, because in our conversations with her, she realized that when she produces her show, she's a long ways out, and COVID has had a huge impact on her production of shows, her sponsorships. All of those things have been a challenge for her to get that going and being able to have a program going forward. And the story of how she started out was just very interesting, in that she took a picture, and from there, Farm Her grew on there. So hopefully we can get that up here really quick and see her 30-second little intro. But you can go to her YouTube channel, Farm Her, and see a variety of them. I just watched one here yesterday because it popped up, and it was on alpacas. And it was a very interesting one where she was on the alpaca farm, and they had an alpaca farm and also a basically a kind of like a bed and breakfast area, so the people could come out, stay there. Oh, there she is. There's Margie, and we'll click her through and listen to this little video quick. This is where the fun of technology comes in. Well, anyway, what Margie talks about here, she is actually out in a vegetable field here in Iowa, and I'll let you guys go to the Farm Her YouTube channel and watch it. But the alpaca one was hilarious, watching how the alpacas and all the stories about how it started, and she's been on fishing boats and you name it. But the thing that makes Margie different is that her program is about women in the agriculture area. So that's where her niche is at, and that's where Farm Her is at. Well, we are just about at the end of our day here, and we are excited that you joined us. And for those that did not join us and are watching in the future, we are here every Wednesday. Ah, did we get that? Well, while that's pulling up, I'll keep talking.
It'll be a fun journey. Check it out. Oh my gosh, it's hot. Even the toilet here is named Johnny, so we have 3 Johnnies. What's it taste like?
Oh my God, great.
What?
Yeah, I mean, better than that. Whoa, it got a sting in that. Whoa.
As you can see, Margie has a sense of humor, and you'll enjoy her programs on there. And we'll be excited when she's able to hop on and join us on our agriculture program here later in August. Next week, we're going to be talking about updates on COVID in the area. We've got several people that we'll be bringing on that'll be talking, that have been on before, and providing some more updates on actual COVID in the Webster County area. Anything that you want to add at the very end, Darcy, that we may have forgotten?
I don't think so. I think we got a lot of information out there today.
We did. Remember,
So this is a great time.
great one. And every Thursday at 9 o'clock is our program. We welcome any comments you have. We also welcome sending info at mainstreetfortdodge.org for any ideas or suggestions that you have, because this is our community program. We're not here to sell anything. We're here to get you the information that you need and provide a service. So we're anxious to hear back from you. And next week we'll be here August, what day is it? The 6th? August 6th? Oh, can you believe it? August 6th at 9 a.m. I had to look at the calendar to believe it.
Crazy.
We'll be back, and hopefully Jed will be able to take this over, because he really does a better job than I do.
You did a great job filling it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you, everyone. And to our producer number 2, thank you for helping us. As you can see here, every week it's brought to us by Jed Burns with Alpha Media. He's the market manager. We have Kimberly Tiffenhauer with regional director with small business development. Chris Patrick, executive director with Main Street Fort Dodge, and myself, Cheryl O'Hearn. I am the marketing director here at Spin Market Plus Digital, where everything is digital in the world today. See you again next Thursday at 9 a.m.